Hey, Katie Boo Bear, Katie Boo Bear, Katie Boo Bear, indeed. Hey, girl, how about you? How'd your lobotomy go? They get you all squared away? Oh, shit. That might be later in the week, though, because tomorrow, or technically today, because it's 2 a.m. in my time zone, is Wednesday. I drank like 3 pops today. Dr. Pepper, so it's got caffeine and the sugar. Versus if it's like Mug or A&W root beer. It doesn't have caffeine, but they're a little bit higher sugar content than like Coke or Pepsi. I'm not a big Coke drinker. I'm not a big pop drinker. Or caffeine in general. I don't drink coffee or tea. Oh, that's another thing too. I went to Ziggy's Cafe today. I did remember to order, a salted caramel with no coffee, no whipped cream, and low-fat milk. And I ordered it in medium instead of large. So, and then I started watching YouTube videos. Watching just stuff. I watched a fair amount of that Ali Awada channel this morning. Well, actually, it's probably about 24 hours ago. I woke up at like 2 a.m. and just started watching. They're fairly decent. I guess that translates into like, Muhammad Ali or, it's like a religious thing. Okie doke. Yeah. Have you seen he's got regular videos and then he's got shorts. I think I have it posted in the ASMR folder. The little baby and the raptor. Yo, what's the dealie, yo? That 50-minute one, I would watch it like in fast forward sections and whatnot. The hunters. It must have been a juvenile T-Rex walked past him when he was like in that underground tunnel thing. And that's retarded because I guess they discovered through skull imaging that, T-Rex had a really good sense of smell, so I don't think he would just walk past, a morsel of meat. Now, I don't know how, mindless eating machines they were, like they portray great white sharks like that in movies, and it's like in reality you can swim with them outside the cage and all that good stuff. Anyway, but towards the end where he like lets the T-Rex into the camp, and just sort of walks past him. And the Allosaurus, I'm assuming, is that what that was? I don't know what's up with the luminescent shit, but that was just like for shock value. I hear coyotes. No, I don't. Sometimes I hear an owl out here, and occasionally I'll hear a woodpecker pecking on the side of my house. That was one thing in one of those videos. The man, Muldoon or whatever his name is, the man's a genius, but he types like a woodpecker on caffeine. He has a tendency for spreading papers all over the place. There's some other ones. I think I have them like in the cool folder or something. There was like a T-Rex. The guy climbed up some stairs and T-Rex got him, but then a helicopter flew by. He was like, yo, man, I don't know if they tranquilized him or what. But he's just in his little camper out there, an RV. Then he managed to get out into the wilderness. It must be one of those off-roading RVs. And he was outside the RV. And he was like around back, so he couldn't really get to the door. And it's like it didn't even know he was there. When in reality, it would have smelled him. So, there's some suspended disbelief parts, but overall, not bad. Not a bad little clip. And those guys were trophy hunters, yet they still managed to get their hands on a Apache helicopter. That's what it looked like. I sat in one of those ones. My best friend's dad was a capper, and he knew a guy, who was military, and we took a tour of some base. I delivered once to Whitman Air Force Base in Missouri. That's where they have a squadron of the A-10 Warthogs as well as the B-2 bombers. That's where they would park them. I saw them parked out there on the tarmac. It was kind of weird. It was like, if I was a crazy person, with a death wish, I could have, jumped the curb and, been driving around a tractor trailer out on the tarmac with those B-2s parked out there. Seemed like there would be a little bit more separation, but there wasn't. 10 minutes in. I don't have anything to say. I've noticed that my views have gone way down. Had an uptick of subbies, and now I'm just down to like 3 videos, and they'll disappear pretty soon. Got a comment from some piece of shit. Like I said, I'm going to say they're legitimate, people. Some of them may have been and maybe still are, fucko, with multiple accounts, but I don't think all of them are. And like I said, those accounts, you have to just leave them, otherwise it would be a sub loss. Meh, whatever. Just something that I noticed. I mean, I don't really care. Boy, this drinking thing is... I need a damn job. But like I said, I'm a binge drinker. So even if I didn't drink for like 3 months, over the course of 2 days, I consume, damn near a whole bottle of the big bottle of, Kraken rum. It's like, dude, you're just bunching it all up at once. I did buy some Modelo beer. I like that. Next, I think I'll buy Guinness, and then I drink that in a glass. I like Sam Adams. I like to drink that out of a glass. Red Stripe is another one I like to buy. It's Jamaican. Modelo is Cerveza Mexican. Guinness is like Ireland. Irish stout. Not that I drink a lot of beer, but whatevs. What do you us? Yeah, with you in my life, Katie Boo, I'll never drink like that again. It won't be. It's just because the game will have changed. The circumstances will have changed. So I couldn't do it. You're going to be such a positive thing in my life to have you as my wife. I mean, if I wasn't a troll, did that sort of shit, this wasn't complete and utter fucking bullshit. It'll be nice rubbing my dick on you, Like I said, if you're not a blowjob queen now, you will be. Is that jewelry around your neck a little cross? I mean, that's cute and all that you're a good Christian girl, and I would consider myself a Christian, just a bad one, but I'm really not keen on the idea of rubbing my dick on your face while you're wearing a crucifix around your neck. So, could you maybe change that? Swap that out for something, anything other than that. And I hate to, be like that, but, I guess, in the morning, we could take care of our, have us the sexy time, before you, like did yourself up and went out to navigate the day. Oh, shit. I added another video. It's a short. You and the hippopotamus. You know, where you were in like a blue shirt. Occasionally I just add shit, you know, I'll stumble across something. So. Yeah. Those ASMR videos that you make with Fatty McFatfuck, those are legit. Those are like therapy sessions for you. And you get an ASMR video out of the deal. Do you still sell jewelry? Seems like you did that for a minute. And then you probably didn't because your fans are probably like, I knew it, fucking bitch, she's a sellout, blah, blah, blah. And ASMR being, you know, your life and something that you love, you're like, oh, gotta keep the fans happy. And that might have something to do with you being a disappointment, you know, the black sheep of the family, even though you didn't do anything wrong. You may have been born with some mental, you know, deficiencies. And I mean that literally. I'm not just trying to be a jerk. Oh, well, okay then, because I thought maybe you were just trying to be a jerk, but no, I meant that. Well, you know, the anxiety, you know, and shit, you know, and second place in the spelling bee and Disneyland, and, you know, you've got some shit wrong with you. But that's cute, you know. So you just need someone in your life to, you know, build you up and show support, safety, security, but in a real way, not blow smoke up your ass. You know? Like, oh, I don't know. Just be honest. Like, what's her name? The Mad Russian, you know? She has that spa, you know, and I don't know if it's like a legitimate deal where they use like face masks and cucumbers on the eyes and all that shit, but, or if it's just sort of a glorified ASMR session with, you know, an official, you know, chair or whatever those things are called, you know, bench that you lay down on, and that hair washing machine and fancy microscopes that she uses to look at hair follicles and just all this fancy horse shit, you know. And if that's actually successful, or if that was coma money, keep her off my ass, a term coined by my future bestie Cool Breeze's dad. I'm not sure if it was his real dad or stepdad, or if he's even got a stepdad. I don't know, but it's a thing, you know, where she's like, oh, I'm big on this. I'll be a strong and independent business woman. So, you know, she had Hubby Bear buy her a studio, and now she realizes it's fucking work. You know, and it loses its luster. Instead of doing an ASMR video and editing it, you know, she has, you know, a schedule, and it just, who knows. But I don't even know why I was talking about her, but yeah, the first time I encountered one of those, this is back when my grandma and my aunt were still kicking. My granddad had passed away, but we went and swung by this, it was a store that sold cupcakes, homemade cupcakes. purses and flowers. And I thought, holy shit. I give this business 3 months. Same thing. They just opened up a coffee shop, in the little town that I live in. And there's two things that are basically equally important, but I think the first one is the most important that determines whether or not a cafe business is successful or not. Every cafe, hut, shop, whatever, has to have a drive-through. And it needs to be located somewhere where it's like, a high traffic area. So, either visibly off of a main road or an interstate, preferably maybe it depends on the area. It's like, because a lot of times it's, let's swing by and get a coffee. We're traveling, need to swing in and get gas. Oh, here's a coffee shop. It's got a drive-through. We don't even have to get out the car. Those things are like equally important, but I think the drive-through is the most important. And it needs to be, like I said, along a place where people can stop by every morning on their way to work. But there's a new coffee shop set up in town, and it's like this place. However long it takes to go belly up. So 3 weeks or 3 months, 4 months, they're not going to make it. And I don't understand why people don't see that. What, you think you're fucking different? Your coffee's going to be just extra scrumptious, and you buy it, from some supplier that's cheap, and you add your own little set of ingredients to like up the tastiness, and you just think it's going to be like this warm place of gatherings where people will talk, and it'll be like some scene out of a fucking movie. Are you fucking stupid or something? You're stupid. That's like the base business model for every coffee shop. Drive-through and high traffic location. Preferably, people driving to work every day. And then as well as some travelers and some randos and miscellaneous shit. Then I do believe that you could, break even. And if you're an employee, obviously you're going to be working for peanuts and chicken feed. But, if you're the owner, the big bad boss, and you own it, and maybe you even own 5 of them, let's say you're the Gweed, for fuck's sake, you've got a string of like 20 coffee shops, and you're providing a, stable future of, glorious, love, romance, financial stability, emotional stability, and kids, for your excruciatingly sexy wife known as the butthead. Then you're making a killing. So it's just like Violent J said in that short little clip that I have. Find something you like to do, because that's what you do most of your life is work. Ironically, I did see that it popped up, a dude who owned laundromats. Yeah, it sounds like even if you own a chain of them, you ain't getting rich. People dropping in quarters or credit cards. Yeah. Okay. A coffee shop, though? Oh, man, I don't know. Or a car wash, People love their cars, man. That's a little bit more overhead, a little bit more cost, Keep the lights on, the equipment, the electric bill, servicing the equipment when it breaks down, and how quickly can you get it serviced? Because you're losing money daily. You've got employees. You're not paying them a living wage. It's a car wash, summer job. People work there, a month to 6 months tops. So, if they're not working, they're going to jump ship. now you don't have employees because you've been down for a week, and you've still got your bills. Maybe the business isn't costing money, your overhead is at a minimum now, but you're not making any money until someone comes in and charges you $10,000, to replace a spring, or some fucking shit, some part. So car washes, I don't know, man. Although the Gweed, he could recruit that sexy bitch of a wife of his to stand out there, in a tight shirt and Daisy Duke shorts with a big ass. And like I said, human beings, they're actually into that shit. They like cartoons for some reason. Holding a sign, yeah, half price, whatever, bikini car wash or something, I don't know if he'd recruit his lovely, adoring wife to do something like that, but, I'm just saying it's within the realm of possibility. But yeah, I think a cafe shop would be a better bet. Because all them cars, that's $6 to $9 plus tip. Every car, cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. And like I said, it's the overhead. It's the money that you make and the money that you get to keep. So anyway. Yeah, I'm up here at almost 30 minutes. Thinking about you, baby girl. Sweet Katie Boo, you're just so goddamn pretty.